Hi. So this is going to be a part 1.5 for my previous vlog that was about the Osmo Pocket 3 issue that I had. And so this is basically going to be an interim solution. I did not really like the Apple iPhone, the way that it worked. It was too difficult to deal with. In the car, I just didn't like it. And I mean, the video came out okay, but it was just difficult to not be able to frame myself and not be able to see myself and just all that. So what I decided to do was pick up a DJI Action 5 Pro and see how that would work in the car, and use it as my interim camera while waiting on the Osmo Pocket 3 to be fixed. And this was absolutely simple to install in the car, easier than anything I've had. So this is looks promising so far. I'll have to see how the video looks, but I know it's a little bit wider, and my arms are going to look super long. So I may have to adjust where I actually place the camera. But so far, I like what's going on here. And in conjunction with this, instead of using my Boya mic that I typically use with everything, especially in the car whenever I have the air conditioner on, I'm using the DJI Mic 2. It pairs up with the camera perfectly, so I figured I would just use it and see how it does. My air conditioning is on full blast, like it always is. So I'll kind of get to see what the difference is there. And the other thing is what's the difference between the Boya mic in noise reduction mode versus having this DJI mic, just to hear the difference. And then also I use well, what the heck is the name of the DaVinci? Thank you. Gosh, my brain's not working this morning. Just watched the Cowboys play the New York Jets, so my brain's on football. But anyway, I was going to see how well the the DaVinci Resolve voice isolation mode. I've used that in the past, but I haven't really compared it alongside just straight audio from the Boya. So I want to see if this would actually be something that would be accessible or acceptable in its place, since it's such an easy way to pair up and use with this particular camera. Now, I don't know that I'm going to keep this Action 5 Pro. I picked it up thinking that I needed an action camera. I haven't had anything like in this form factor since the GoPro Hero 2, if you can believe it. I really haven't had anything since then. I've had a couple of them that come with some experimental drones that I've had. Some like Chinese knockoffs, which I know all of these are Chinese, but some knockoffs that weren't very good. But I don't count those. So this is the first real one that I've had since then. And I hear that there's going to be an Action 6 come out possibly this month. So if it comes out before my return window ends, I'll probably return this and get the 6, just because I need something to test with, and it certainly won't be worse than the 5. And from the specs I read, it sounds like the 6 could be really cool. It almost sounds like it's using the Osmo Pocket 3 sensor. It's 1-inch sensor. And if that's the case, then and it works as well as the Action 5 and all others, all other modes and everything, the low light should improve quite a bit, and that would be a real winner. So I may end up doing that. But I just wanted to see how this was going to work out. So I'm going to keep talking about just random stuff. I may just cut it all out and end it right here. And if I do that, then I had nothing interesting to talk about. I am having to get used to this aspect ratio. I have it on standard. I believe I've got it on standard. What does this say? Yeah, I've got it on rock steady and standard 4K 30. And it's a little bit, the aspect ratio, I'm a little bit too far back, and my arms look like they're about 3 feet, well, 3 feet longer than they should be. At least according to what this front screen is showing me. This is the first time I've used it, so I take that back. This is the second time. When I got this yesterday, and I took it out in the backyard and wandered around for a few minutes and came right back in. So I just looked at it, the footage, and it looked good, but this is the first time I've actually used it in a scenario I actually planned on posting. So I've got some mixed lighting today. Partly cloudy skies, sun's kind of coming in and out. So it's kind of harsh in some spots and flat in others. So this will be good to be able to see how the footage comes out and how well it deals in dynamic range wise. And I hear this one's supposed to be pretty good with dynamic range if you shoot in log. So that's what I forgot to tell you. I am shooting in the D-Log format. All the demos that I saw showed the standard mode on this Action 5 came out looking actually from what I saw, it looked way too HDR to me, and the colors were kind of pastel like, and it just didn't have as good of a look as even the Action 4. The Action 4 normal mode looked quite good. I thought the 10-bit Action 4 standard normal profile looked actually really good. I liked it, and I really considered getting it. But since I heard the 6 was going to come out, I was thinking more like, I'm just going to give the 5 a shot, because everything I saw out of the 5, as long as you use D-Log and just use the standard LUT to go with it, it looked as good as the 4. It's just that you couldn't use standard mode. So we are going to give it a shot and see how it looks. You guys can tell me. I realize there's no shallow depth of field. That's the big difference between the Pocket and this one, in my mind. And the Pocket 3 didn't have all that shallow depth of field, but it was at least, it gave some semblance of it. This is going to be completely clear all the way back, so you'll be able to see all the junk in my back seat, and my head won't be isolated. I may try this on the way back, but I think it's going to be in the middle of the night, so I may not. Or I might try the super night mode, or I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try something different. And I was going to mount the camera maybe to my side window. That way I could actually put it a little closer to my face so I didn't look so elongated or so far back. But I don't know if that would help, or if that would just make my head look big and wide and distorted. So, and I know a lot of people do vlog with these where they just hold it out in front of them. And I would say if I was holding it out in front of me, I might be a foot closer than it currently is. This is mounted on the front windshield, just above where my inspection sticker is and everything. So it's probably, I don't know, 8 to 12 inches further than my hand would be from my face. So now we're into some flat lighting. Sun's behind the clouds, and the sun's back out. That was short-lived. I guess one good thing about the infinity focus on this is that you don't have to worry about accidentally being out of focus. I know it doesn't have the closest near focus, so I know you got to be at least basically a foot away, or a little more than a foot away, in order for anything. Otherwise, I think the near focus is 12 to, I think it was 12 or 16 inches. So that's like that close, and that would be fine. I do think that it might give me a little issue when I want to do some close-up product shots, because there's a lot of times where I take the Pocket 3 and I run it across right really close to a particular product to get the details up close. And it does a pretty good job there. It also has kind of a minimum focus length of, I don't know what it is, but it's closer than this. But I have a macro attachment that I can put on the Pocket 3, and it lets me get really close, like almost too close. So whenever I want to get a really up close detail, I can always slap that filter on there. I guess it's not really a filter, it's more of a lens, but it's pretty cool. So I've got another question, possibility here. So I get mixed reviews on the difference between the Insta360 not action, what do they call it? I can't remember what they call it. Something Pro 2, their version of this, versus the Action 5. And I'm curious what the Insta360, what people think the difference between those two are. I do like my Insta360 cameras. The only thing I have against the Insta360 cameras at this point is the lack of 10-bit recording. So, it kind of does its thing with its own pre-processing of the image, where it kind of tries to handle the highlights and shadows before it actually records. So it kind of eliminates the need to use 10-bit in order to pull and push your highlights and whatnot. But sometimes you don't like that. Sometimes you just want it to be a flat image and let you do the post-processing yourself. And it works so much better in 10-bit than it does in an 8-bit log format. And I was curious what other people thought. I at one time, a while back, investigated, I think it was the Action 4 versus the Pro, whatever it is, Pro 2. I can't remember what it is. Insta360, whatever the version is, the newest one they have. And I know it says it shoots in 8K as well. But I'm just curious, does anybody else have any thoughts on that? Because I really haven't had a chance. I've definitely never seen it side by side. I've never used the Insta360 version. I have the X5 360 camera, and I've used that in single lens mode, and it looks really good. I don't have a lot of complaints about it. I actually could use it in place of this guy. But it's not quite as robust, I would say, as these type of action cameras, and you got to worry about breaking the glass. And I know you can replace it, and that's a huge win on the Insta360 side of things. That's why I didn't get. Well, originally the DJI version of the 360 camera wasn't out, so that was the real reason I didn't get the DJI version. But then when it came time to choose between this camera I'm using right now, the Action 5, and the Osmo 360, I almost picked that up instead. But I have read so many reports of the lenses being extremely scratch prone, and while I don't really shoot in the types of situations where it's more action-like, where I'm actually worried about things hitting the lens, I do have a habit of bumping it or setting it down awkwardly or something, or accidentally just like dropping it maybe from a foot or so. Not big falls, but with the way that I've seen that the 360, the DJI 360 scratch, and the fact that they have no replacement lenses made me just decide against that. So while it does have some cool features, especially the log versions and the I think it's a little bit sharper too, from what I've seen. And you can shoot in 5K single lens mode, which all those things are nice. But if you can't keep the lens from getting scratched, that's just not going to work. So that's why I got this one and was hoping that the 6 would come out and I'll just pick it up in exchange, and this one will work. I mean, and then I'll just continue to use that when I need something like that, and use the 360 Insta360 for the 360 stuff. But that doesn't mean I'm not interested. I still am very interested in that Insta360 Pro 2. I wish I could remember what it was called. It looked promising. I also considered the what I should have said earlier was I was trying to decide between the Nano, the DJI Nano, instead of this one, instead of the Action 5. And ultimately, there's two things that came up. One, I wasn't going to be able to get the Nano for a couple of weeks. I think it was back ordered, or wherever I was looking, a couple of different places. I wasn't going to be able to get it for a week at least, and I needed something to replace the Osmo before I sent it in, and the Pocket 3. I mean, and this and then I started reading about all the overheating problems with the Nano. And I just decided against it after really researching the heck out of it. At least now, and I know they put out a firmware patch that was supposed to address the overheating, and from what I've seen, it didn't do anything. So people are still having overheating problems, and like just in something something I'm doing just like I'm doing right now while I'm driving. In a lot of the people's videos that I've seen, it would have already shut down on me a couple of times. And so that's just that's not anything I'm interested in. I was kind of interested in the form factor, the fact that it was really, really tiny. I might use that on something to make some kind of more interesting videos, where you can put them inside of things, and the fact that it's waterproof as well. But I think I'm going to wait on something like that until a version 2, and they get all the heat problems worked out. But it kind of looked promising. So I had a real difficult time for like 2 or 3 days after the Pocket broke. I was really trying to figure out what the heck I was going to do. What am I going to get? And I was looking at the Osmo Action 4, the 5 Pro, the Insta360 version, and the Nano, and even the Osmo 360. And I was just going through everything as much as I possibly could. And then I kind of ruled out the Insta360 for the reasons I gave a little while ago, mainly the 8-bit video. And I just kind of wanted to stay within the DJI ecosphere, so to speak, even though I do have the Insta360s as well. I just kind of had decided that's the way I was going to go. So then it became more of a choice between the 3 different DJI products that I had. And then I was like, well, do I wait on the 6? Just all kinds of thought processes going behind all that. And I finally just decided I'm just going to make a move. I can get this overnighted. And so I did. I got it the very next day. And so far I've been happy with it. Other than the aspect ratios, I just feel like at the typical length I use my cameras, this one might be too far, but I guess I could probably just drop in a bit. But I just don't like the exaggerated like arms. And that's just kind of where I'm at so far with this. So we'll see. I did pick up a couple of accessories. I got the small rig cage because I wanted to have some 1/8 inch or mounts, and I like the fact that it seems to be a little bit more robust. It's a little easier to get stuff out of, a little easier to get like your battery out, and I did like the way the camera went in a little better. Plus, I was able to, I went ahead and got the small rig, a little attachment as well. So now I can go with like the GoPro type of connector, or the quarter inch, maybe 1/8 inch. I can't remember. My brain is not working. but just the normal screw-in type. So I'm using that right now, along with the suction cup mounts on my windshield, and it's working really well. And I got a little bit busy. I'd said in my last video that I was going to ship my Osmo Pocket 3 off on Friday, and here it's Sunday and I still haven't done it. And it's because I got called to a couple of things that got in the way of me getting out of the office and getting the thing sent off. And then yesterday I had to shoot an FC Dallas soccer match, and that was the midday soccer match, so it took my whole day because I have to be there early and stay late. So I wasn't able to get it over to UPS. So it looks like tomorrow is going to be my day, hopefully. I am very curious to see how fast they process it. And I'm hoping that they don't keep it and try to fix it. I'm hoping that because there really actually was one more problem that I had with the Pocket 3 that I don't really talk about because I don't see it as a big problem. But, when you turn it on and turn it off, it spins and gets back into its original position and locks itself. The gimbal does. Mine doesn't do that. Mine sticks. And so it won't, if I have it shut completely and I turn it on, it'll just sit there. It won't break out of the little indentions or whatever it has that locks it in place. And then so I have to physically turn it and then turn the camera too. Turn the camera and the arm, just kind of break it loose and then turn it on, and then everything's fine. And the same thing when I shut it down. When I shut it down, it spins like it's going to reconnect itself. But it doesn't. It doesn't go all the way into place. So it's just still kind of like ajar a little bit, and the lens is still turned a little bit. So I just have to click, and then it's fine. That never really bothered me too much. I guess I could have sent it in for that problem. But anyway, so now I'm hoping that when it comes back, they just do send me just a new one so that issue is gone, as well as the vibration issue that I was having. If they can fix both of those, if I get a new one that can fix both of those problems, I'll be quite happy. I'm just curious to see what they're going to end up doing. I think it'll be a replacement. I don't know if it's refurbished or what, but I am happy that I bought that warranty. From what I understand, it's probably going to be a 2-week turnaround or so from the time I send it in till the time I get my new one. So if that's the case, this interim solution here should work out well. I'm monitoring my my fantasy football scores, and I'm up by like 50 points, but everybody's played but one. And I'm predicted to lose now, which is kind of strange. Which, to be honest with you, wouldn't be unusual since I'm 0-4. First time I've ever been 0-4 in any fantasy league I've ever played in. I do like the fact that it's a little longer this season, so I might still have a chance if I can turn it around this week. If I don't and I go 0-5, I hope I don't end up just like giving up. I try not to do that sort of thing. I did do that in fantasy basketball. It's too much to keep up with. I'm not that hardcore because I don't care for the NBA as much anymore for a variety of reasons. And so I don't pay attention enough to it. So I didn't play it. I'm not going to play it this year again. If anybody can guess where I'm going, leave me a comment. It shouldn't be a surprise. So I wonder how this is going to look if I crop it in a bit. I normally don't like to crop my 4K footage. I like it to be framed the way I like it to be framed. And since I can't zoom in and the aspect ratio is so wide, or the field of view, it's not the aspect ratio. The ratio is the same. I don't know why I keep saying that. The field of view is so wide If I crop in, I guess it'll probably be okay. I'm curious. And then I'm shooting at 16:9, and I know a lot of people say you should shoot 4:3. That way it gives you a little more leeway up and down since it's almost a square. I might try that, and I'm not sure. I have to think about that, whether that would be something that would naturally cause it to be cropped a bit, or is it still the same width? I gotta think about that. Something to try. Maybe I'll do that on the way back. All right, I'm here and I'm going to say goodbye for now. Stay tuned for the part 2 instead of the 1.5 here once I receive the Pocket 3 back. And maybe I'll do something before then. We'll see. Thanks. Bye.